Hello, everybody. All right, welcome to the Mikestand. Today is, of course, Monday, January the 6th, 2025. I hope everybody's having a good start to their week this week. A lot of kids will be getting back to school this week after coming off of their Christmas break, Christmas slash winter break. Um, so hopefully everybody gets back to school safely. Um, of course, now. So as we of course wait for people to show up in the chat, if you guys can help out by liking, if you haven't already, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people um, to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, as we wait for people to come in, let me just. All right, so while we're waiting for people, before I get started talking about what's on tap for tonight, I guess I'll go over a little bit of like what I was watching today. Um, so apparently, in April of 1932, Charles Mintz and the Fleischer brothers are the only ones who are relatively busy that month. Is each of them had, I think, about four or five cartoons come out each. In the case of course, Fleischer, Betty Boop had appearance in all five of them, albeit two of them were more like cameo shots of, screen stuff. Now, Screen Songs were a cartoon they had where, they were promoting music of the day. And what they would do is it'd be like Screen Time. It was kind of a karaoke, old style karaoke, where basically you'd follow the bouncing ball um, as you try to sing along with some of these standards of the day. A popular radio duo actually made an appearance in both, the Betty Boop cartoon and in a Van Buren Studios Tom and Jerry cartoon. Now, Van Buren, as I mentioned to you guys last week, was they did a Tom and Jerry, but it wasn't Tom Cat and Jerry Mouse. It was um, two human characters. Tom being the tall, skinny guy, and then Jerry being the fat, the short, fat guy who basically they ended up changing the names of the characters from Tom and Jerry to Dick and Larry. So, so now we're actually coming up on 4 minutes now. So I guess we can talk about what's on tap for tonight. Then let me just do one more thing here. All right. So with all that being said, now. All right. So tonight, we're gonna go over one article from Bounding into Comics, um, talking about the release of Mappa's Hell's Paradise Jigokuraku anime. Um, they're announcing their second season release date and the new mobile game from Good Smile Company to go along with the anime. Also, of course, we'll have a bit more of a wrestling wrap up tonight, as of course, New Japan had three events over the weekend. They, two of them, of course. Well, you had Wrestle Kingdom on Saturday. Um, you had Wrestle Dynasty, which was a co-promotion between, of course, on Sunday you had Wrestle Dynasty on Sunday, a co-promotion between New Japan, AEW, Ring of Honor, and CMLL. You also had, of course, some talent and stardom there as well. And then, hey, Rick, thanks for popping in. If you haven't already, you can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. It'd be appreciated. Also, feel free to comment on anything that grabs your attention. But as I was saying, and then earlier today, you had New Year's Dash, which is just their own thing. And then we also have some other news to go over as well, including, SmackDown and Collision. And then of course, we'll have This Day Needs History. So with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and get started then? So we'll get right into what we're going to talk about tonight, which is anime news here. So, Hell's Paradise Jigo Kuraku anime unleashes second season release date. New mobile game from Good Smile Company. Article by Nerdigans Inc. published back on January 3rd, which I believe was Friday, I believe. So, rest time is over, fellow convicts. Now, mind you, we're into January, so we're into the start of, just a reminder to everybody, we're into the start of the winter anime release season here, so we'll probably get a lot of these coming in. After going quiet following the series renewal announcement, Studio Mappa has finally reignited the search for the elixir of life, with the reveal that not only has the second season of Hell's Paradise, Jigo Kuraku, received an official release date, but it will also be getting a brand new mobile game. And then that, I guess, Yamada assassin Sagiri, who is voiced by in the anime Yumiri Hanamori, in Hell's Paradise Jigo Kuraku in Season 2 from Mappa. The first animated update to Mappa's adaptation of Yuji Kaku's psychological thriller manga was unveiled at the recent Jump Fester 2024 event by Yamada Simon Sagiri voice actor Yumiri Hanamori. Narugai voice actor Makoto Koichi, and the manga's original editor Sakaki Bara. Dropping viewers back into the series Lord Tensen arc. The debut trailer for Hell's Paradise, Jigo Kuraku, Season 2, finds the Tau energy fueled feud between Gabi Maru, the Hollow, who is voiced in the anime by the Japanese voice is provided by Shiaki Kobayashi, who also does the voice of Matt. The Japanese voice is Mash Bum Dead in Mashal, and Aza Chobes, who is voiced in the Japanese by Ryohei Kimura, who provides the voice of Kohei Imamura in Grand Blue, continuing to escalate with both fighters unleashing their respective abilities of fire and vine generation. Oh yeah, that's a good fight. Fire versus vine. Well, vines are a form of a plant, of course. So you can just imagine what's going on there. Following a final shot of Gabimaru losing himself and the memory of his wife to a burning rage, the trailer ultimately reveals that the series will officially return to the small screen in January 2026. In parentheses, no, that's not a typo. Fans will still have to wait another year to see the story continue. So, on parentheses there. Hmm. All right, and as always, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we get some more friendly people in here to engage, it'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, as we continue on with the article here, when it does, in addition to the clash between Gabimaru and Shobe, the series will see an additional landing party arriving to Shinsenkyo in service of helping their predecessors find the elixir of life. Led by the infamous second rank Yamada Asaimon Shugen, who is voiced in the Japanese by Ryota Suzuki, who provides the Japanese voice of Morihito Otogi in Witch Watch. The second team consists of 3 additional Asaimon. The third rank Yamada Asaimon Jika, and the unranked clan members Yamada Asaimon Kiyomaru and Yamada Asaimon Isuzu, as well as 50 Iwagakari shinobi, including Shija, the group's hand-picked replacement for Gabimaru. But little does the shogun who assigned them to this mission know, but both Shugen and the Iwagakari shinobi squad have other plans for the excursion, with the former seeking to execute every criminal on the island, and the latter seeking to use the opportunity to slay Gabimaru and redeem their collective honor. So I guess here these are the characters, the aforementioned. All right, so. And though the year-long wait for the series' return will no doubt seem unbearable to some, Mappa has teamed with Good Smile Company to produce Hell's Paradise, Paradise Battle, a new mobile game that is set to release in 2025 and hopefully serve as a good enough tide over for the series' more dedicated fans. Revealed on stage via its own trailer, this initial look at the game provides a glimpse at the mysterious and beautiful land of Shinsenkyo, as well as Gamimaru and Sagiri's special moves as reanimated in a new dynamic style. Per the anime's official website, in parentheses, as machine translated by DeepL, on parentheses, quote, the game features new voices and a completely new character scenario, supervised by anime scriptwriter Akira Kindaichi, unquote. As noted above, the second season of Hell's Paradise Jigo Kuraku will begin airing and streaming in January 2026, with same-day simulcast set to be provided exclusively by Crunchyroll. All right, so there we go with that one. Again, that was the only article we were going to go over tonight, as I had my reasons for trying to keep things a little shorter tonight. But what we are going to do now is we're going to actually get right into the. Actually, I do need to step away from the computer for a moment, so I'll put some music on to entertain you guys while we're on. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about all that, folks. So, let's do something here real quick. All right, so with that, so as I said, we're going to move right into the wrestling wrap up because there is quite a bit of news to go over. So first up, when I actually hit up on some TNA news, some of which I just found out just before the show here. So as we've talked a little bit about the situation with Jordan Grace and her contract and the fact that she's chosen not to re-sign with TNA. From the looks of it, her contractual dates, I believe, will be up through Genesis here. However, there's a number of others who said that their contracts were going to be due to expire by January 1st. And it's been reported now over the last few days that about 4 of them have actually re-signed with TNA. Of course, AJ Francis, who signed before the end of the year, I believe, formerly known as Top Dollar in the WWE. And then you have John Schuyler, current TNA Knockouts champion Masha Slamovich, and Ash by Elegance, all having re-signed with TNA to continue with TNA for now. So that's it for that. Now we're going to get into some WWE news. As, of course, with tonight being Raw's debut on Netflix. We'll of course go over that, go over what's on tap for that tonight. But also, before we even get into that, of course, go back to Friday night look back to Friday night to see what go back to Friday Night SmackDown to go over what happened on Friday night. Now, some other news in the WWE too. So, Bronson Reed has himself confirmed that he's going to be out for a while. He's got some pretty serious, damage to his foot that required major surgery. So he's at least going to be out through probably until April. He's not going to be cut. He's not going to be on tonight's premiere of Raw on Netflix. He's not going to be showing up at Royal Rumble. This is what he has said, through his social media accounts, and he won't. And he's likely, he's the most upset, of course, that he'll have to miss out on WrestleMania because of this. So that's one of the major things that happened there. Also, talk a little bit about, from Friday Night SmackDown, the show opened up with a non-title match between United States champion Shinsuke Nakamura and Andrade, in which Nakamura defeated Andrade. But after the match, as Nakamura was getting ready to, further punish Andrade, LA Knight came out to challenge Nakamura to a U.S. title match, to regain his title. Michin defeated Piper Niven in a match that was hopefully used to set up for a potential rematch between Michin and Chelsea Green for the U.S. title, as Niven is Green's quote-unquote first lady, as it were. A match for the WWE Tag Team titles between current champs DIY of Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, and the Motor City Machine Guns of Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, went to a no contest when I believe Carlito came out to interfere in the match. And then Nia Jax defended the WWE Women's title twice, having defeated Naomi with the help of Tiffany Stratton, then losing the title to Tiffany Stratton, as Tiffany Stratton finally cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase. There's been some talk too, and since she kind of customized the briefcase by turning it pink, that she might actually customize the WWE Women's title by turning that pink. Now, there's been a lot of heat on WWE and for Tiffany Stratton for this long, drawn-out process of her cashing in, but she finally decided to do so. Now, there's been some question too as to whether or not this makes Stratton a face, because Jax is a heel, even though they had an alliance there for a while. But as Jax was getting ready to further punish Naomi by executing a bonsai drop on her, Stratton walloped her with the briefcase, and then ended up, getting the pin and getting the 1-2-3 and becoming the new women's champion. So, and then the main event saw the bloodline of Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, and Tama Tonga defeat the OG bloodline of the Usos and Sami Zayn. As now earlier in the show, of course, there was a confrontation. There was a bit of a confrontation between Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman, in which Solo Sikoa had asked Heyman to hold on to the Ula Fala during tonight's match with Roman Reigns, in which he wants Heyman to be able to basically put the Ula Fala on the winner of the match. And he has said that if he does indeed win the match and cement what his claim to being the head of the table, as it were, then he wants Heyman to become his permanent tribal council once and for all. So a lot of things setting up for tonight's Raw debut on Netflix. Let's see now. So speaking of which, why don't we go ahead and get to that? Talk about what to look forward to on tonight's Netflix. Raw's debut on Netflix tonight. On tonight's Raw debuting on Netflix with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee going into the announce booth there, happening from the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California. The New Day of course, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are slated to take on Rey Mysterio and a mystery partner. There has been some talk that it might be the debuting Penta El Zero Miedo, as he, of course, his contract came to an end AEW at the end of last year, and is now, now there's talk that WWE has signed him. Among some of the other notable people confirmed to be there tonight, Hulk Hogan is actually confirmed to be at the show. Whether or not he'll actually make an appearance on camera, that has still yet. But he's well represented as part of the advertising for the show. As starting this past Friday, WWE decided to put in new mats in the ring. On Friday, SmackDown was just a plain blue mat. The mat on tonight's show will have a whole bunch of advertisements on it, one of which being Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer. So, Drew McIntyre and his continuing quest to go after all the people who are siding with Roman Reigns, will be taking on Jey Uso, try to take him out in a match for the WWE Women's World Title, slated to be a last woman standing match. Now there was some talk that this stipulation might actually be canceled, but I'm not completely sure because it's still listed here on Cage Match that it's still listed as a last woman standing match. Liv Morgan will defend the women's world title against former champ Rhea Ripley. Both women looking to end this once and for all with this match. Liv Morgan, of course, hoping to, basically put Rhea Ripley out of contention for quite some time, for at least the time of her continued reign. Rhea Ripley looking to get the title back from Liv Morgan, which she felt she lost unjustly. In a tribal combat match for basically as the aforementioned Ula Fala and for leadership of the bloodline, Roman Reigns will be taking on Solo Sikoa, with the winner, of course, getting the Ula Fala and being acknowledged as the head of the table, head of the bloodline. And in the main event, we'll see a renewed rivalry between CM Punk and Seth Rollins, as the two men have had obviously different opinions, as Seth Rollins has been upset with Punk over the time he was gone from WWE, his lack of loyalty, and then Punk not wanting to take any of that. So that's all we got in turn. Let's see. We also, aside from, of course, Hulk Hogan, as we mentioned, another confirmed individual for the show will be Shawn Michaels. Will also be on the show tonight. Is confirmed to be there. Some other names that, while not confirmed to be there, there were rumors that they might be there. But again, these are only rumors, including, of course, The Rock. Let's see. The Rock is one. Who else? I think there was some other. Some people were thinking that maybe Stephanie McMahon might show up, but that's not the case. Stone Cold is not going to be there. He just couldn't. He already had some other plans for that night. So, let's see. And as I said earlier, there's also a rumor going around that Penta El Zero. There's also some talk that there might be some returns, as possibly both Charlotte Flair coming back from injury and Becky Lynch coming back from taking some time off to be with her family, may also return tonight. So again, a lot to look forward to on this. And there is also talk that the length of time, the duration of Raw will probably be varying anywhere between 2 and 3 hours. As being on a streaming service, it's believed that they'll have a little bit more flexibility when it comes to that. Whereas with TV, they were a bit more constrained. So that's all I got for the WWE portion of the wrestling wrap-up. So now let's move on to the AEW. As AEW, of course, had its collision event this past Saturday from the Bojangles Arena in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now you had some people there like the Rock and Roll Express were there making an appearance, and we'll talk about them. The show opened up with a TNT title match between TNT champion Daniel Garcia and Mark Briscoe, in a match that went almost a full 20 minutes, went 18 minutes, 16 seconds, in which Garcia retained the title in a very hard-fought battle, with Matt Menard joining, of course, Tony Schiavone and Nigel McGuinness on commentary. Jeff Jarrett, in his now quest in his final time as a wrestler to become the AEW World Title, took on and defeated Aaron Solo in a minute and a half. The AEW World Tag Team titles were on the line, as Private Party defended the titles against Action Andretti and Leo Rush and retained the titles, with, of course, some timely interference from Top Flight, the Martin brothers, Dante and Darius Martin, and Layla Gray, who kind of provided some distractions for Andretti and Rush to for a private party to win. Tony Storm defeated Deonna Purrazzo, which of course Purrazzo and Taya Valkyrie neither of them were happy about that, as as Purrazzo and Valkyrie are upset at the entire women's division. After the show, of course, put the entire women's division on notice that they were coming after them. They pretty much put them on notice that they were going after Mercedes Moné. They were going after Mariah May. And in a $100,000 high-speed collision four-way match, Brian Cage defeated Dante Martin, Commander, and the Beast Mordos to win $100,000. Kind of harken back to the old days of when they'd have cash prizes for battle royals as well. They'd promote those. And then the main event saw rated FTR of Cope, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler defeating the learning tree of Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Brian Keith. After the match, of course, in what was considered a despicable act, the Death Riders took the Rock and Roll Express hostage, in which rated FTR came back to. When it comes to tag team and tag team history, rated FTR, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler are known for being big opponents of that. Having respect for those who came before them, who paved the way for them. So for this act, for what they were trying to do there to the Rock and Roll Express, we're just not going to go down. But so that's all we got for the AEW news. Of course, they'll have their Dynamite. We'll talk about that probably on Wednesday. But with that, now before we, and to finish the wrestling wrap-up portion of the show, we actually do have go over some New Japan with some AEW talent. They had a few events they were doing over the weekend, and we'll talk about those. Going back to Saturday night, the Wrestle Kingdom 19 from the Tokyo Dome. Of course, the pre-show opened up with a number one contendership New Japan Rambo match, which I believe by as I heard it explained, it's kind of like a Royal Rumble match, kind of, with Hiroki Goda outlasting all the other participants to become the number one contender to the new to the World Heavyweight title, earning a shot at Zack Sabre Jr. In a four-way ladder match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. The Ichiban Sweet Boys of Robbie Eagles and Kosuke Fujita from TMDK, the Mighty Don't Kneel, defeated the previous champions, Intergalactic Jet Setters of Kevin Knight and Kushida, Bullet Club War Dogs of Clark Connors and Drilla Mahoney, and Catch 22 of Francisco Akira and TJP of course, Bullet Club as well. In a match for the IWGP Women's title, Mayu Iwatani, who defeated Azumi, as these two Stardom talents got a chance to showcase their stuff on a New Japan show. In a four-way match for the New Japan World Television title, Ren Narita defended against El Fantasmo, Jeff Cobb, and Ryohei Oiwa, in which El Fantasmo came out the winner of that particular match. Jeff Cobb, after the match, wanting, basically getting up in Fantasmo's face as feeling that he had never actually lost the title. He was a former TV champion at one point. In a lumberjack match, Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated Evil of the House of Torture stable. In a match in which both the AEW International and Never Openweight titles were on the line, Konosuke Takeshita defeated Shingo Takagi to win the Never Openweight Championship. In a match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, El Desperado defeated Doki of Just Five Guys by referee's decision when Doki ended up getting hurt and was knocked out of the match. In a match for the IWGP Global Heavyweight title, David Finlay defended Bullet Club defended the title against Yota Tsuji of Los Ingobernables de Japón, in which Tsuji had defeated Finlay for the title. In a battle, two other members of Los Ingobernables de Japón, Tetsuya Naito defeated Hiromu Takahashi, in which they were confronted afterwards in the post match interviews by Jeff Cobb and Great Khan. Basically talking about how they would not have won the New Japan Tag League if they hadn't injured one of their comrades. And we'll get into as they were looking forward to a match with them and the Young Bucks and we'll get into that in a moment here. And then the main event saw Zack Sabre Jr. Retain the IWGP World Heavyweight title over Shota Umino. So that was on Saturday night. That was at Wrestle Kingdom. Then moving on from the Tokyo Dome. So now moving on to Sunday's Wrestle Destiny. As Wrestle Destiny was an event co-promoted by, of course, AEW and New Japan. You also had talent from Stardom and Ring of Honor there as well. On the pre-show for that, started off with the four-way match for the International Women's Cup final, in which Momo Watanabe of Stardom, with Thekla in her corner, defeated Ring of Honor World Women's Champion Athena, CMLL's Persephone, and AEW's Willow Nightingale. Also on the pre-show, the Sons of Texas, Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes, defended and retained the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships over the House of Torture duo of Sho and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. In a Lucha Gauntlet match, Taiji Ishimura defeated IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion El Desperado, Hechicero, newly crowned IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champion Kosei Fujita, Máscara Sagrada, Master Wano, Soberano Jr., and Titan. In an exhibition match, Hiroshi Tanahashi and Katsuyori Shibata went to a time limit draw in a 5-minute exhibition match. In a match in which both the New Japan Strong Women's and Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's titles were on the line, Mercedes Moné defeated Mina Shirakawa to become the new Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's Champion, as well as retaining her Strong Women, giving her now 3 titles and she's also the AEW TBS Champion. David Finlay defeated Brody King in a one-on-one match. Shoto Mino, bouncing back from his loss to Zack Sabre Jr., defeated Claudio Castagnoli. In a match for both the international and never open AEW international and never open weight titles, Kenoshi Takeshita retained over Tomohiro Ishii. In a three-way match for the vacant IWGP Tag Team titles, the Young Bucks defeated the Los Ingobernables duo of Naito and Takahashi, and the United Empire duo of Great-O-Khan and Jeff Cobb. Yota Tsuji retained the global heavyweight title over Jack Perry. Kenny Omega defeated New Japan strong heavyweight champion Gabe Kidd in a non-title match, and in a match for the IWGP World Heavyweight title, Zack Sabre Jr. retained over Ricochet. So Sabre Jr. defended the IWGP, and he's only 2/3 of the way through the weekend, and he had to defend the world title twice that weekend. So now also for and then earlier today, our time, but so because over in Japan's about a day ahead of us. But earlier today, New Japan also had their New Year's Dash show. Now, no titles were on the line here. The pre-show did see the team known as Tenkoji of Satoshi Kojima and Hiroshi Tenzan, team with Yuji Nagata, three longtime veterans, defeat the threesome of Shoma Kato, Katsuya Miroshima, and Daiki Nagai. In a 5-minute exhibition match, Josh Barnett and Oleg Bolton went to a time limit draw. In a 10-man tag match, the United Empire fivesome of Francisco Akira, Jeff Cobb, Great-O-Khan, TJP, and Jacob Austin Young defeated El Phantasmo, Tomoaki Homna, Jado, Shota Umino, and Master Wato. In an 8-man tag match, House of Torture foursome of Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Yujiro Takahashi, Ren Narita, and Sho defeated the team of Hiroshi Tanahashi, Toge Makabe, Tiger Mask, and Toru Yano, in which it looks like the House of Torture had stolen the never open weight 6-man tag titles from Tanahashi, Yano, and Bolton, who are the actual current champions. The Bullet Club War Dogs duo of Clark Connors and Sonata defeated the Just Four Guys duo of Taichi and Taka Michinoku. El Desperado teamed with Kushida to defeat the Bullet Club duo of Kenta and Taiji Ishimura. Another 8-man tag match, the Los Ingobernables de Japón foursome of Bushi, Shingo Takagi, Titan, and Yota Tsuji, of course, the current global heavyweight, defeated the Bullet Club War Dogs foursome of David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, Gedo, and Drilla Mahoney. Naito and Takahashi of Los Ingobernables de Japan defeated the team of Funky Sauce of Ryusuke Taguchi and Alex Zane. And then in the main event, 8-man tag match, Chaos, the team representing Chaos, of number 1 world heavyweight title contender Hiroki Goto, teaming with Rocky Romero, Yo, and Yoshihashi, to defeat the Mighty Don't Kneel foursome of Robbie Eagles, Kosei Fujita, Ryohei Oiwa, and IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Zack Sabre Jr. So that's all we got for the Wrestling Wrap-Up, folks. So even though I was trying to keep it short tonight, it still ended up going a little longer than I wanted. But we do have, of course, the last segment of the show, the This Day in Each History. We'll get right into that here. 1999, 2020, 1945, and then 1985. All right. So today being Monday, January 6th, 2020, 2025. Let's go ahead and take a look back at this day in each history. History! So, first off, I'm going to head back 80 years ago today. 80 years ago, as on this day, 80 years ago today, Chuck Jones' Adorable Kitty premieres. The Warner Brothers cartoon, of course, marked the debut of Pepe Le Pew. On this day, 80 years ago today, Pepe Le Pew made his debut in the Warner Brothers short Odorable Kitty. As oftentimes we know how that all goes with that. Moving ahead to 1985, 40 years ago today. On this date, 40 years ago today. So I find it. Nippon Animation's Princess Sarah debuted on Japanese television on FNS, of course known today as Fuji TV. So on this date, 40 years ago today, Nippon Animation's Princess Sarah debuted on Japanese television on FNS, known today as Fuji TV. Now moving ahead to 1999. On this date in 1999, which was, of course, 26 years ago today, the 565th issue of Adventures of Superman, starting out as Superman, of course, went on sale on this date back in 1999. Sold for $1.99, was 32 pages. The story was The World in My Backyard, scripted by Jerry Ordway, plotted by Carl Kessel, penciled by Tom Grumet, inked by Dennis Rodler, lettered by Clem Robbins and Albert Tobias de Guzman, with Glenn Whitmore doing the coloring. So 26 years ago today, the 565th issue of Adventures of Superman went on sale on newsstands on this date. And we have somebody come in there. Haven't seen you in a while. The Dotard Elliot. All right. Romy Park as Edward. Elric is far superior. Well, I think Vic did a pretty good job with it as well. The dubbing cast, the Tombo anime, the Glorio Gothic. All right. I haven't seen that yet. So, anyways, as we now get ready to move on to the final piece of niche history today. I thank you for your comments there. Let's see. On this date, 5 years ago today, the first Raw of 2020 from the Chesapeake Energy Arena in Baltimore, Maryland, or no, I'm sorry, in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Saw the first Raw event of 2020. The show, of course, opened up with a WWE United States Championship title defense as Andrade retained over Rey Mysterio. In a triple threat match for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championships, the Viking Raiders of Eric and Ivar retain the title over the Street Profits of Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, and the OC of Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. And the main event saw Kevin Owens team with Samoa Joe and The Big Show to defeat Seth Rollins, the Authors of Pain, of Akam and Rezar via DQ in a 6-man tag match. So with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Of course, we'll be back here tomorrow night with more Niche News. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. And of course, don't forget this Sunday we will be I'll have Metal from the Vomitorium with me as we'll be looking back to comics that went on sale in April 1940. This week we'll be focusing in on the company that would eventually become Holyoke Publishing. I think at that time they were publishing as Nita, with, of course, the first issue of Whirlwind comic we'll be going to look at in the debut of Holyoke's version of or Nita's version of Cyclone, among others. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.